guys, JD at JD's Custom Buggies. On to the next project. So, while I was up in Tennessee this past, about 2 weeks ago, my wife sends me a link on Facebook Messenger for an ATC 110. And it's funny because she knows me. And I'm like, I don't know if I want that. And she's like, oh, it's like 5 minutes from you and it's an 85. Well, if you watch some of the past videos now, I'm basically putting together 85 ATVs. So as of right now, we have an 85 Ducati, Kawasaki Ducati 250, 85 Quad Racer, an 85 200X, and now we have an 85 ATC 110, which is kind of cool. By the way, this is Luna. If anybody remembers from past videos, Lucy. You can see there is a resemblance. There is no relation. We have dogs. I never thought I'd want more than 2 dogs, but Amber had sent me a picture of her, and then I fell in love because she just reminded me so much of Lucy. So she's a new shop dog, and she's just hanging around. She's pretty chill, and yeah, it's she's my heart. I'm starting to fall in love with her. So I'm gonna put her down. All right, baby. And we're gonna talk about what we got going on here. So we picked it up. The guy fired it up. It took him a couple of pulls. Got a pull start with the choke, and always something. Air compressor kicked on. But anyway, he gave it a couple pulls and started right up. It idled for a few minutes. Well, not a few minutes, but like 2 minutes, and then it just kind of died out. And I'm like, all right, it runs. It looked pretty clean. The drum brakes work, which is amazing. Anybody who's got an old Honda, I had this issue with my old TRX 300. It's a 99, but at one point the drum brakes just froze up. I'm kind of glad to see that newer machines don't have drum brakes anymore. But the drum brake actually functions perfectly. So for a almost 40-year-old Honda to have a drum brake function, it's a miracle right there. And I'm glad it does because it doesn't have front brakes. So that was it. It's just basic. This was the most, back then it was state of the art, and now it's like super basic. But no suspension, front or rear. Your suspension are basically the air, how much air you decide to put in your tires. Only has one brake. What is kind of neat about it is it does have a high-low gear selector switch that you just manually flick on the bottom of the transmission. So this motor, it's basically one of those horizontal style. You'll find them in like every Chinese pit bike, ATV. It's basically they copied right off this design here. This motor's been around since probably, I don't know the exact number, but they've been around as far as I can remember. I had a couple old CT70s, same style motor. But what's kind of unique about this is on the ATCs, they put a high-low selector. So you have your 4 gears in high, you have your 4 gears in low, which is kind of nice. But it is a semi-automatic, 4-speed. As far as that, there's really not much more features besides a working headlight. There's really not much more features than this. This is a pretty clean machine, steel tank. The gas cap actually looks identical to what I've got on my TRX 300. So Honda's been using this gas cap for a while. That's my dog chewing a water bottle. So what I've done so far is we got it in. I didn't know how much I was going to put into this as far as effort, money, this, that, the other thing. I did order a seat cover for it because it looks like somebody took an old pillowcase and made a seat cover out of it. The plastics I was on the fence about. It's got a bunch of Frankenstein stitching done with zip ties. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and probably the only plastics I can really find are Mayer plastics, which tend to be expensive. She's cracking me up. You're very noisy over there, kid. Okay, I'm going to take her fun away for a second because, there we go. I'll give it back to you in a second. Mayer plastics I found. Mayer plastics are expensive, but I'm probably going to invest in it, and this is why. So I ended up getting an Amazon carb. Actually worked really well. She'll fire right up with the choke on, no issues. The carb literally cost me $17. It's kind of a unique carb. to this machine. The petcock is on the carburetor. Probably Honda's using it on a couple others. Can't give you a rundown on how many or which models. Obviously the first thing I noticed that the tires, you put a new tire on the front, you put a Kenda Scorpion on the front or whatnot, but I noticed that the wheels were in rough shape. If anything, if I was going to change tires on, I was planning on basically sandblasting them and whatnot. Also noticed that they're two-piece wheels, so we kind of took the one apart, and it's got a plate in there with like a rubber gasket O-ring type deal. And you basically just bolt the tires back together, and they're held together with like metric carriage bolts. So as we were taking these wheels off, I noticed that the rear, like the guy had like maybe 1 or 2 lug nuts on the back, which was kind of sketchy. The studs themselves are not even 10 millimeter; they are like 8 millimeter studs, so really small. So the whole thing was like, I'd much prefer to put different wheels on this thing. Lug pattern on it, we measured it out as 4 on 130, and we do actually carry DWT wheels that have dual lug patterns, 4 on 110 and 4 on 130. I grabbed one for the front, and unfortunately the offset don't match up. So this wheel has to be like, it's an 8-inch wide wheel, 4+4 offset. Means that the center line's down the center. Actually uses the same wheel all the way around. So we kind of started hunting around and trying different things out, and came up with a game plan to get rid of the two-piece wheels because I wasn't really thrilled about them. So right now, what we did, we went ahead with some new DWT Blue Label wheels. They're 4 on 110 lug pattern. Now, this is kind of the cool thing. Went around looking for old hubs that I had, picked up a buggy hub just for the heck of it, and here's one of the stock hubs. So not very beefy, but it looked like it had a pretty good hole with splines in there. So I'm like, yeah, it's kind of on the thicker side. So I grabbed the Earth Dog hub, and I grabbed a regular buggy hub that we use on like Trailmasters and Hammerheads and whatnot. Found a 4 on 110, slides right on there like butter. So basically the same spline count, same everything. So the plan is I'm going to use these 4 on 110s on the rear. Ordered some new tires. I had 2 in stock, so I just ordered 3 more to keep the 2 in stock, but we're going to go with these same size as what was on there. It's basically a 22-11-8. It's a Duro Berm Raider. Going to use the same tire all the way around, so we're going to go ahead and just discard all these wheels and tires that he's got. Obviously the lugs on this are better than, I'm assuming they might be the stock tires on that, but it's got a good chunky lug on there. This is overinflated right now because we're just letting it bead seat and everything. As far as the front wheel, I did find a 4 on 130 4+4 DWT wheel that matches this, another Blue Label wheel. Found one on eBay, so I went ahead and ordered that. And the reason why it's got to be the 4+4 is because when you put this is your front hub or whatnot, it's got to bolt up so the wheel centers. So we'll be kind of waiting on that. So we're going to go ahead and get the rear tires and wheels on with these hubs on, and then pick it up like a wheelbarrow and stand it up somewhere in the shop until the front wheel comes in. In the meantime, seat cover should be here soon. Hopefully, I haven't taken the foam off or the cover off, the pillowcase, whatever you want to call it. I haven't taken it off yet. What's nice about it, it's got a steel seat pan, but hopefully the foam's in good enough shape that we can just recover this. I'm hoping I don't have to order a new seat foam, which probably I'll be able to find, but prefer not to have to order anything else if I can avoid it. Probably gonna lose the stock grips and put something else on there, just because one of these were kind of spinning. The other thing we noticed is that there's a little bit of play with the throttle, and she sticks just a hair. So I don't know if I'm thinking about doing like a TRX 90 thumb throttle assembly for it. Should be real close. I remember back in '85 looking at these at the dealership, and it looked so big, you know, a little bit smaller probably back then. But then when we went and picked it up, we actually have our TRX 90s up in Tennessee, and they were parked next to each other for a minute, and she's pretty much on par with the same size. Like they all belong together, you know what I mean? So Actually, in reality, she's a little bit smaller than I pictured. So this is gonna be a fun little project. Basically, got it for my wife to scoot around up there in Tennessee. If she, kind of like a little pit bike for her up there, and they're just cool. So as we get going, we get the rear tires and everything on. As parts start coming in, we'll just update this video and keep going with it as part of the series. So that's it for now. If you need parts, go to gotbuggies.com. If you like what you see, hit the like button. If you have any comments, questions, anything like that, just leave them in the comment section. And until next time, JD's out.